Hey everyone, it's Bobby. I am today taking the liberty of teaching you how to make a hidden blade. Forgive me if the video seems kind of long. So, to make one of these takes about 20 minutes. Very, very easy to do. Okay? Things you'll need is, alright, collapsible Tai Chi sword. As you see, I don't have the locking mechanism ready yet. So this is actually not the blade. The blade is over on this side. This down here is a hole, alright, for the collapsible piece. So yeah, I was playing around and making some other hobbies here. So anyways, what you will need to do is you will need to first make the locking mechanism on your hidden blade. Very simple to do, okay? First we will start with how many pieces of this collapsible Tai Chi sword you'll need. By the way, $8 on Amazon to get a collapsible Tai Chi sword, okay? And that should include with the shipping fees. So this is the first piece. This is your blade right here. Looks kind of short, but it's actually probably about 4.5 inches, maybe 5. So that we can go ahead and let that be extended, okay? Because that we don't have to worry about. Now you're going to need, second, some pliers, okay? What you'll have to do is you'll have to take your pliers and crimp this. What I mean by crimp is, you see these are straight and they go straight to the middle as the shape. What I'll have to do is bend those sides like that. You see how they're more bent now? Now, go ahead and let my blade fall down. See, it didn't come out. Now, there is a such thing as too much, so what you'll need to do is you might need to loosen that up a little bit. All you have to do is just pinch them and see how that works now. As you can see, the blade falls in nice and neat. So it's locked. The second piece is the third piece. So you saw how easily that came out. So is the third piece, which is the base of your hidden blade. Okay, if you want to, you can cover up the hole, but anyways, again, you'll just crimp those. You only have to really crimp 2 sides really to do this. You can crimp 4, but that's just like kind of like overkill. So now, like I said, be careful with these. Don't crimp them too much. So now, let's see how that works. You see how much that is right there? How much that comes out? So like I said, that could be overkill if you do all 4. So now, I'm going to do all 4, just kind of an example. As you can see, it locks in there pretty tight, so, and it still comes out great, so. But the reason why you don't want to do 4s, though, is because if you do 4, you ain't going to get this effect where your second tier is in there, and you can't push it, so it'll just come out like that with a good jerk. So you may just want to do 3, okay? So then you just push it back in. As you can see, it doesn't want to go all the way in. So if you do this, boom, and shoot the blade back in here. The blade sometimes can be a little difficult. So in that issue like this right here, sometimes the blade will just, you push it, boom, there it is. Now, time for the actual hard part. Now, sometimes this might, if you do it a little too hard, as I just did there, it'll shoot straight out. So, what you will need to remember is to crimp them just right. When I say crimp them just right, you don't want to crimp too much, you don't want to crimp too little. So, the second piece only crimp 2 corners. Don't crimp more than that. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the blade back in. Go ahead and push it. Pull it, make sure it's stuck in there pretty good. Now you see I went ahead and I decrimped the third piece so it's coming out of. So anyways, gotta push that back in. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get the second piece. So As I said, don't grip them too much. So the blade, for the blade itself, once you shoot in there, should come out still relatively good. So you can, like I said, this is going to be customizable, so it'll depend on your preference on this thing. Now as you see, it's kind of hard to do that, so don't jerk it too hard, otherwise it won't go back in. Okay. Now back to this piece. Crimp it back so we have what we need. Alright, now it should look like this. It should come out the end just a little bit like that. So then you know that's when it's good. When it comes out a little bit like that, when you put force behind it, it still comes out that much out, you know you got a good crimp. Okay? So now the hard part. So for this part, you're going to need a pair of gloves. Alright? These are going to be chemical bases, okay? So I'll put those on here in a second so I can open the package. But then you're also going to need 2 D-rings, okay? Don't go any bigger than 1.1/8 usually, okay? Sometimes that might mess it up. Now this is JB Weld. This is JB Quick Weld, okay? This stuff right here is really awesome, actually. It sets about 6 minutes. Now, setting and curing is a little different. When it sets, it'll set, but when it cures, it gets harder. So once you have it set, leave it alone, let it sit overnight. It says 4 to 6 hours, leave it overnight, okay? The longer it cures, the better, okay? This stuff takes 2,424 PSI. What does that mean? Any of y'all don't know what PSI means? It's pounds per square inch. So yeah. So just an inch of this stuff can take 2,000 pounds of pressure. Alright. Now, you're only going to need about a square inch anyways of this stuff. So, it's this JB Quick Weld black tube, yellow tube. So you'll just need some of this stuff here. Now, setting this and putting it on is going to take roughly, I want to say about 8 minutes to do entirely, because it says it'll set in 6 minutes, but in actuality, it's also going to depend on how much of the chemicals you mix together. Okay. Now, the next part you'll need is stretchy Velcro. When I say stretchy, it's stretchy. So, see? Stretchy, stretchy, stretchy Velcro. Alright, enough of that now. Then you're also going to need a putty or mixing knife. I use a butter knife, a plastic butter knife. It works the same, okay? And it's cheap. So, if you have them laying around, you can use them. It'll do the same thing, okay? So now we put the gloves on. Now, this stuff, JB Quick Weld, whew, it's got a strong smell to it. Alright, I've used it for a lot of hobbies, as you've seen, and I've had a lot of leftover. So, now, another important thing is make sure you have a clean surface before actually applying it to anything. So make sure any debris or anything like that's off this cardboard here. Alright. Now, why I say wear gloves is because that it's important when you're dealing with chemicals to wear gloves. You never know how hazardous these are. So it says right here, warning contains, I can barely read that, triphenol, skin, eye irritant. Skin and eye. So yeah, wear gloves. Okay? Avoid contact with skin and eyes. So, important to wear gloves. Very important. Okay? So, what we'll need to do is we'll have to open this. Now, we're going to have to find a place to put the D-rings on. I prefer putting 2 D-rings on, front and end. You can do it in the middle, but only if you're doing the van brace. Okay? So, now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and open this. Now, as you see, it's not coming out. Nowhere is that one. It's because they got these aluminum tips. Thanks to JB Weld, little caps here, see that right there, have a plastic tip on the inside. So, We will move this knife out of the way here and some other stuff out of my way. Yes, I was actually deodorant. I know. Anyways, so we will start with the black, because the gray you have to make sure you fold into the black. So put the gray on top. So we'll let that sit right there for a moment. You gotta be quick about this, okay? Because look, it oozes. So, important to be quick. Now lay that down for right now. And have your D-rings at a ready area. I like to have them on my right hand side because I'm right-handed, so I can reach quicker. And go ahead and count when you're doing this. Ready? Be like this. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. That's all you're going to need for these D-rings. Okay? Because this is what you have to do. You have to twist, 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 twist. Scrape the excess off. And put the cap back on. Okay? Now that that's done, the lid keeps it very well, so don't worry about it spilling out. Very important too. Please, please make sure that your room is at least warmer than 45 degrees. Alright? Seriously, don't do this in your garage in the wintertime. Again, gotta be quick. So, starts oozing out here. So, ready? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And that stuff, if you squeeze hard enough, does come out faster than the black. Okay? Scrape. Lid. Whew! Here comes the smell. The gray is what gives off that pungent smell, just so you know. Now, I have my fan on. I have my door wide open. Otherwise, I'd put a mask on. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that there for right now. Important thing. When you're doing this, there are different methods. You can dab or you can fold. I do a mixture of those two. I dab in a circular motion like this. Make sure I pick up all the edgings. Okay, so you can see I'm picking up the edgings here. Go ahead and pick this up here, scrape it up a little bit. Dab, 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 dab. Why am I dabbing? Because this helps to fold it into the black. Alright? Gives it that zebra look. You want it to look zebra when you're dabbing. Now, important thing, go ahead and fold. You want to sway it backwards and forwards like this. You want to make sure all that gray is gone. Still got a little bit here. Alright. Now, the butter knife helps to rake this, so I can actually see better with a butter knife than I could with a regular putty knife, because I can see more gray than I would normally with a regular putty knife. So, fold, fold. Alright. Now time for your D-rings. Alright. Very, very important. Put the stuff on the round part, please. And I will show you why once this is done. This is probably going to be a two-part video because it's taken longer than I hoped it would. So, make sure you spread evenly. Now, I'm used to this. I've done auto body, so I'm kind of used to, you know, doing this kind of stuff here. So, but be careful what you're doing. Alright, well, I mean, be careful. Be sure you're doing this in a safe environment. Don't do this around family members or anything. Don't be stupid. Don't go, hey, little bro, look what I'm doing here. I mean, because this is chemicals, people. Don't be stupid. So, now, we'll take the D-ring, and we'll set it right there. Now, get the other D-ring, do it quicker. Now, we're going to pick up a scoop of it here, and another scoop, and twirl it around, put her on. This stuff are spread very easily. The butter knife, especially since it's so small, lets you get into those little nooks and crannies. So, I recommend using a butter knife, but some people might not recommend that. But hey, It's cheap. It does its job that I want it to. So now, very important, don't use all your tubing, okay, of this JB Weld on the first go. Even though you think it might be awesome to, don't do that, please. Now, what I like to do is I like to take these D-rings and put more JB Weld on them. So I will put more right side dab in the middle of both of them. Right here. Now JB Weld is easy to take off. All you need to do is a heat gun. Okay? So don't be discouraged if it looks all poor and everything. You can use a heat gun. Scrape that off here real quick so I can scoop all this out of the way. Put some right there. Right where I need it. So basically, that's how you do it right there. That's all you really need to know. Now, you can add little pieces on here. I'm adding a pirate piece from a necklace on. So, same rules here. Gloves and JB Weld onto it. So, alright. I'm probably going to put that in the middle here. So, as I said, gloves are very important. Oh, did I say gloves are very important in this? Seriously, people, don't do this without protection. You wouldn't go out and say, hey, let's make a baby out of nowhere, would you? So, I'm making sure I didn't get none on my ends here for the blade. I didn't, which is good. So I'm going to let that sit there for right now. And any excess of it, if you see any, you can see this is starting to get tacky. Since you have gloves on, use the bottom of your butter knife here, or putty knife, whatever you got, I don't care what you use, and scrape that. As you can see, not a whole lot came off on the glove here, so better scoot this back up there. Now this is starting to set, okay? So once it starts setting, be sure not to move around too much. I'm going to leave it as is now. So I can go ahead and take my gloves off. So I am done. Boom. Sure, 17, 18-minute video, but hey, you know, it's worth it if you want to make your own hidden blade, people. So, cheap way to do it. So, Amazon, find yourself a Tai Chi, Collapsible Tai Chi sword, and then get D-rings, JB Quick Weld, yellow and black tubes. Have a good one.